What's up, everybody? This is Brian Smith talking a little preseason college football talk with the Miami Hurricanes hosting Texas A&M on September 9th. This is a repeat game as last year the Aggies knocked off Miami 17-9 early on in the season 2022. So this year is going to be very unique because all of those recruits that Jimbo signed, like 21, 22, those back-to-back really good classes, and of course the 22 class was historic. But they've had over 30 guys enter the portal, maybe a couple of them coming back. We're not sure. Even if they said they were, I need to see them on campus is why I say that. And Texas A&M's roster has just been in constant flux. So that being said, what does Miami have this time that they may not have had last year? Let's go over the list. And then I'm going to present, I got a few stats that I have written down based on what Texas A&M did last year, what Miami did, etc., to make this a unique matchup. Number one, this is year number 2 for Mario Cristobal and the Canes. Your system is in place. That's huge. I don't care if you've got Vince Lombardi in his prime. If it's year 1, that's hard. You're going to have dumb mistakes, dumb penalties, missed assignments, and the list just continuously goes on and on. Number 2, and just as important as any category in college football, more talent. Miami has far more talent than last year because of the transfer portal. They outdid themselves quite a bit because they got rid of some bad pieces, some guys that weren't bought in, some guys that just moved on that didn't cut it. And then they added guys. They added starters from Alabama, UCF, a couple of really good players that are NFL talents. They also added players from other SEC programs, Big Ten. They got a corner from Iowa who never gave up a touchdown. They improved their roster. Finally, they also brought in a really good recruiting class to help bolster that group. So the talent is a lot different in Miami. In Mario Cristobal's own words, especially with the offensive line, has the right kind of pieces. Javion Cohen and Matt Lee, remember those two names up front. So, but on defense, this is where I think it's the most important. And what I talked about on all Hurricanes. Last year, the Canes had 37 sacks. It's really good. 19th in the country. Okay. Well, Messidor, Taylor, and several other guys, Jafari Harvey, etc., are coming back. Plus, they added Jaden Wayne, Reuben Bain, the other guys up front that are just going to keep coming. Ahmad Moten is a guy that's developed. They just have more bodies. They had too many injuries last year as the year wore on, and part of it happened after A&M. I'm not giving Miami a pass. They didn't play that well in that game last year, but they're going to be very difficult to score on. And then you finalize with this. These are the pathetic numbers that despite the so-called guru that Jimbo is supposed to be, or at least it used to be, this is what A&M finished per NCAA statistics. And I got these off CFB Stats. It's a great site if you ever need anything for statistics. Scoring. Aggies last year, 22.8, pathetic, 101st in the country. Texas A&M, 101st. Passing, 84th, 219.4. That's horrendous. Third down offense, 99th, 35.95%. And red zone, this is a two-parter, and I'll explain why after I give the two numbers. 22nd in the country, 89.47. That's pretty darn good. However, that's scoring, not touchdowns. Touchdown percentage is only 72nd at 60.53. They just didn't maximize their opportunities. Third downs and red zone, that's moneymaker time at any level of football. If you don't do well on third downs and in the red zone, chances are you're going to struggle to win close games. So that's what the Aggies did. This year with Miami having Tyler Van Dyke back, Colby Young has emerged. They'll have Restrepo healthy, Colby George. They'll have more running backs. This is going to be a different kind of offense. They've got a couple of freshman receivers that are going to get a chance to play. They have more depth at running back. I think Miami can just outscore them. And then I also think that A&M's problems, again, as I was talking about here, with all the goofiness, and I just don't understand how you can have Evan Stewart and Devon Achane, two great football players, a receiver and a running back, that they scored 22. They're just under 23. I'll give them the benefit of that out. 22.8. Let's round it up to 23. They should average 35 points a game because they had serious talent. Haynes King struggled at quarterback. Wegman came in late in the year and did well. Threw 8 touchdowns. Didn't have any picks, but he only completed 55%. Max Johnson, the guy that was at LSU, he's going to be a senior this year. at A&M. Could he be the guy? They don't have a definitive quarterback. That's just no good. So they don't have anybody hitting a high percentage. They're not making enough plays. There are too many inconsistencies. I think this is the key game for Miami. As I wrote about it, all Hurricanes, their schedule starts off pretty easy, except for this game, because A&M could rise up in a game. You never know. They start off with Miami of Ohio. The game, it's the battle of the Miamis, but then they play the Aggies. They've got Bethune-Cookman. That shouldn't be that big a deal. They play at Temple. Then they have Georgia Tech at home. If they beat the Aggies, and they should, Miami should start 5-0. Then they go to North Carolina, a team that can't really play defense, but they've got as good a player as there is in college football behind center. And then they have Clemson coming to town. So you need to start at least 4-1, if not 5-0, before those two games. If they start 5-0, Miami could win 8 or 9 games this year at least, go to a decent bowl game. They have to win this game, though. The A&M game is one that Miami, and I'm sure A&M as well, has circled. Some of these kids are from Florida. They've got some kids from South Florida, et cetera. Not surprisingly, that Jimbo Fisher has recruited A&M because, he was the coach at Florida State for a long time. It'll be a homecoming for some of those kids, and it'll mean something. But Miami is built with the way their team is to take them on with a more experienced group, more cohesiveness. They've got better offensive line play, more playmakers. I just think they're going to outscore the Aggies, and I think they'll get a lead, and that's where that D-line and that pass rush comes in. So calling it now, I'm going to say Miami's going to win 31-17 over the Aggies. That's my pick, and I'm going to stick with it. But anyway, please hit the like button, notification bell. Please comment on this podcast and share it. Going to be doing a lot of different things coming up, mostly prospect related, but this is one of the games that I've just found interesting across college football for this next season, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. You can check out the full article. I've got more information there at All Hurricanes, and it's on the Fan Nation Network. Really enjoy doing that. So everybody have a great day. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you very soon.